So do we have a guest, Coach?
Can you believe this? You know, in this brave new world we live in, I found out that Bruce Fenton is really a hologram. You know, these crypto people, he's just, he doesn't exist. He's a hologram. So I don't know. Bruce, are you here? Look, there he is. Oh my gosh, we have a hologram live. So, okay, Bruce is here. And see, I'm going to promote you, Bruce. Bruce is a pro.
Okay, here
Been
he is.
interviewed. He's been interviewed everywhere. So, Bruce, are you going to be doing some screen sharing here?
First of all, let's hear his microphone working. I
Yeah,
see he's unmuted.
he's unmuted.
We
He
can't hear
checked in
you.
a little late. Can't hear
Make
you yet.
make sure you've from audio settings. Make sure you've next to the mute button there is like a little arrow which opens like the audio settings. Make sure you've selected the correct microphone that you want to use if you have more than one. But you are unmuted from our side.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
Bruce.
Now we can hear you. Now
And
we
now we
don't
can't.
anymore. Yeah, but we did hear you briefly.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. Yeah, I just wasn't talking. I'm just looking for that to make sure it's on the right mic.
Yes, it is. It is. We can hear you just fine. And now,
Okay.
if you use the green button that says "Share," you can also choose a screen or a window to share with us.
Okay.
If you want to, Bruce.
Of
Otherwise, I
course.
have your website up here.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't planning on sharing anything. So
Okay, well then I'll share while we're talking.
great.
Okay. So Bruce, it's really a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for
You
coming
too.
in today.
Thank
Pleasure
you.
to meet you as well. Dale made an introduction saying that you're a big believer in Bitcoin. Um, uh, you probably know Mark Yusko then, right?
Sure.
Yeah, we had a drink with him the other day. I like Mark very much. He's a very nice guy.
Great.
He made some nice arguments about Bitcoin. To be honest, I'm extremely skeptical about cryptocurrencies because I don't see yet what is the difference between existing cryptocurrencies and fiat money. I mean, in my opinion, so far we have like fiat cryptocurrencies. I mean, I would be all for a cryptocurrency backed by gold or by something tangible. And I'm open-minded, so I'm looking forward to listening to your interview with Dale.
Great.
Yeah, because Bruce,
That's a great question.
maybe you could tell us a little bit about your journey and your background because I know you were a principal of a financial services firm, correct?
Yes.
So I mean, you started on the conventional road and built your own broker dealer, and so you've been in the business during the Baton Death March. Let me ask you, and you still have an interest in that broker dealer, Atlantic? What's the name of it,
Well,
Bruce?
so Atlantic Financial was an office of a broker dealer that operated for a
Oh, I
while
see.
and then
Hmm.
kind of became a little less active when I got into crypto. But we actually acquired a new broker dealer called Watchdog, which I'm very active in. And I'll be
Hmm.
that was just announced in October, so just a little more than a month ago. But I'm going to be very active with that going forward.
What do you think about this? Did you imagine, say, 20 years ago that we'd have zero commissions? I know, the internet was the beginning of the Baton Death March of uh, that that end of the industry, and that it would all be about collecting assets and just charging 1% or something like that for it to be managed. Uh,
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me much. I was there at the beginning of the move toward wrap accounts and
yeah.
what later became robo advisors.
Okay.
When I first started as a stockbroker, when I was 19 years old, it was
Wow.
1992. So
You didn't have to be 21 to get the
no,
Series 7?
no, not back then you didn't. I
Okay.
don't know if you do now, but I got my Series 7 when I was 19, and there, there was still brokers then. It was kind of the dying breed of classic stock brokers, and they would build a position and they'd make a bunch of money on the buy and a bunch of money on the sell. And hopefully it goes up so that when you make the money on the sell, you put them into something else. And that was kind of the business model for these folks.
Right.
And that was
Converting
just changing
customer
to coins.
capital into commissions.
Right. And then it was changing to wrap accounts. And I was part of that. I was early because a lot of people, I went to a lot of seminars and things where a lot of the wise members of the industry said, hey, kid, this is the future. Don't bother with stocks, do assets and get wrap accounts and manage money for a fee. That's going to be the wave of the future. And so that's how I built my business very, very early. I was really early in that, one of just, a handful of people that were focusing on wrap accounts back in the early 90s there. And now it's the whole industry.
Okay. So, you've seen the whole development of the industry, and I come from days of open outcry. That's when I learned on the floor, when the trading floors were not bowling alleys. They were communities of barracudas trying to take a piece out of one another. So tell us about your conversion to crypto, and it looks like it's one that has stuck with you and that your conviction has built. And tell us how it happened.
Yeah, well, I've always been interested in new technologies and new markets and new kind of things. I've always been interested in sort of what's next. I was interested in computers when I was a little kid during the PC boom. I followed Microsoft when I was a little kid. When it was in its early days, I was fascinated by software and, fascinated in emerging markets as well. China, early in my career, everybody was talking about how China is going to become a major economy. And a lot of people laughed at them. They said, no way, they're communists. They're never going to be a major economy. But I was interested in that. I was interested in the Middle East later on. But my interest in crypto combined a lot of these things that I'd been interested in: capital markets, money, how finance works, how the world works, technology, something new, also political a little bit. I have, I'm interested in politics. I'm interested in freedom. I'm interested in some of the more, less conventional political ideas like libertarianism, anarchy, free markets, Austrian economics, how these things work. And Bitcoin is a convergence of all of these things. It's technology, it's something new, it's got a political aspect, it's got kind of a interesting, weird, edgy sort of aspect, not being part of mainstream. And
Yes.
So that was what originally got me interested in it. I was very skeptical also. I originally bought just a tiny bit as a speculator because I was very cautious. But after some time and learning it, Bitcoin is complex. You sort of need to know about a lot of different things, and nobody has all those knowledge sets. You got to know a little bit about law, a little bit about economics, a little bit about markets, a little bit about computer science.
Yeah, so it's not for the lazy to really wrap their head around what it is, unless they're just buying a chart or taking a shot. So you were skeptical, and we're all skeptical until we learn about something, right? And then either our skepticism is validated or we convert and believe in something new. So, how long did it take for you to really think you had your, head wrapped around it, understood it, could present it? Because I see you have a great resource on your website for people that really want to delve into it. You probably went through every step that you have on your site, right? All these white papers and your resources here, I think, for anyone that's interested in learning about crypto, you have it all here, Bruce. Can you see the screen?
Yeah. I used some of that from other folks who've been kind enough to accumulate a lot of this stuff. Jameson Lopp is one of the greatest resources. I think probably half those links are things he recommended. But I would say probably 6 months into it, something clicked with me. And that was the realization that this is a new invention. It's not just a thing. It's not just a token. It's not just a coin that trades. that people speculate like a penny stock. It's actually a new invention that does new things that could not be done before. And then the question became well, how significant is that invention and what can it do? And that I still believe. Now, in this journey you mentioned, it's interesting because there's other things that make me more skeptical. Even though I've been in Bitcoin a long time,
You bring up penny stocks. I see a lot of these kind of what they call these altcoins that look exactly like how an IR firm used to pump and dump bulletin board, pink sheet stocks, where you go out and now they probably give people coins. Do you get restricted where, if you fulfill an obligation, you get coins for your action, the way penny stock broker owners, their currency was their stock, and they give people free trading stock to bring in volume. Is that
Right.
what's happening in the altcoin arena?
Yeah, very similar. It's not even as regulated, so they don't tend to have restricted shares. The ICO wave of 2017 and these altcoins, many of them, not all of them, but 90+%. The model is they raise some money, they keep a bunch for themselves. So they'll come out with 100 million worth of tokens, raise 10 million. So now they have 90 million, and to get that 10 million trading, they want to have $1 billion market cap. So they give that to key advisors who are people they feel who can help in one way or another, either by using their name or by pushing it directly. And then they sell it. They sell it to institutions and to individuals, mostly retail investors. And most of those are very, very low quality. Some of them were outright scams, but most of them were very low quality offerings.
It's the same game, different title on the instrument.
Yeah.
Same game. All right. So you're talking about during your journey, the fact that it's an invention. Maybe that's why it's difficult for John Q. Public to get it, because, we all know how to turn a light on, but we don't know what went into, the AC and the DC currents and how they all happened. So do you know who the inventor was?
No one knows for sure. There's a person who claims to be the inventor. There's been a couple people who claimed it. I think there's 5 people claiming to be the inventor.
Al Gore invented the internet. Maybe he invented crypto too. You think so?
Exactly.
All right.
Nobody has given any concrete proof yet.
All right. Okay. So let me ask you this. You feel, do you keep your personal holdings in a wallet, or are there any exchanges out there that you trust? They're all unregulated, aren't they? So how do you go about telling someone that wants to at least get involved in some way to go about their purchases on an exchange? Or
I'm a little different than a lot of old-time Bitcoiners. Most of the people in the community for a long time are very much of this belief, not your keys, not your coins. And a lot of them are against exchanges. But me coming from the traditional world, I actually see a lot of benefits in custody and custodians. You certainly have the risk that the custodian can go out of business or get hacked or steal your funds. But I think there's a lot of risk of that yourself as well. You could get robbed. When crypto's gone, it's gone. If somebody steals it from you, you're not going to get it back. So I see quite a bit of risks of self-custody, particularly if somebody is an investment advisor or if somebody is a high net worth person. I have friends that have carried around, $10 million plus in cryptocurrency on a little USB drive. And I just think, coming from the traditional financial world, I just think that's just too risky for my tastes. And so I'm actually in the minority in that I recommend custodians. I think it's okay to have your own custody. Now, if you have a lot of money and you're very technically sophisticated and you can do things like redundant backups and very secure. If you were to put, say, what's called a cold storage solution, like a hardware wallet or a paper wallet or something physical that can't be hacked, and you put that in 2 different safe deposit boxes. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good.
Can you get on an airplane with that? Amount of crypto in your pocket? So does that go through a metal detector? So that could be an attraction, since you could only leave the country with 10K, right? So you could travel with millions.
Yeah, I think that it's considered a password, just like you can get on a bank, you can get on a plane to another country and have a password to your Bank of America account. And maybe your Bank of America account has $10 million in it. So I think it's considered a password. It's not an area of law that anybody has pursued to say, hey, if you're crossing the border with these crypto keys, because a lot of people do that. I mean, there's a lot of people who keep custody of their own keys, and some of them have ways of getting that even when they're traveling on their, they hopefully don't keep it right on their phone, but they maybe can get it through their phone, between their phone and another device plus a password. Wow. Something like that.
Yeah, I don't even think Orwell could have dreamed this up. So are you price sensitive at all, Bruce? I mean, we have dramatic swings in the market, like a lot of gold guys will say, don't wait to buy gold and wait. Does that apply to you? Should you wait for good prices to buy, and is it ever the right time to sell? What's your view on that?
Yeah, I view it as sort of a binary play. Either this thing will work or it won't work. And if it does work, it has a chance of transforming global finance and the way that capital markets work. And it could be, in the case of Bitcoin, it could be a major global currency. So if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then it really would have truly been a tulip bubble, the likes of which the world has never seen. And then you see a very low price. So I'm not big on a lot of technical analysis or day-to-day timing it. I think if you believe in it, you take a small piece of money that you can afford to lose, because it is very volatile, especially in fiat, and you take it and you sort of have a long-term threshold on it and think about what those prices are. I'm somewhat price sensitive. Part of my price sensitivity goes to this thesis, is it going to work or not? And technical analysis is a real thing. I mean, if you have something that just crashes so badly that everybody is underwater for a long, long time, that's definitely not good. And it may be harder to break, or definitely would be harder to break out of that. It may not break out. So,
the
answer is I don't try to time the market going in or out, but rather have a long-term philosophy of, do you believe in this technology? Will it work? And then what does it take to get there, kind of thing.
Look at that. How old were you in this picture, buddy?
Yeah, I must have been 20 something in that one.
Okay. Did you have a girlfriend?
I think I was married to my wife that I'm still married to. Yeah.
Oh, congratulations. You're blessed too. So, what I would like to know is, I mean, it's a nice website, and, it shows you've been everywhere, CNN, CNBC, everywhere. What are you trying to accomplish by having this website? Is it just a way of paying it forward and making people aware of crypto? Are there funds that you manage? Do you have a business model for this? Or you just like to be an advocate and an ambassador for cryptocurrency, and that's why you're doing this?
Yeah, sort of. So I set out in the business to learn as much as I could and meet as many people as I could. And I think I did pretty well at that. And then I invested, and my main operating business is called Chainstone Labs. And what that does is basically serves as an incubator and an investment company to sort of further my ideas in the space. So I've invested through that company in, various startups and other ventures in the industry, companies like Shapeshift, which is a really cool kind of a almost decentralized exchange kind of thing, and Abra, which is very interesting because it uses some very advanced technology to kind of have derivatives of equities. And I've invested in a few other companies, and then Chainstone.
So, would you call yourself an angel investor, Bruce, or a venture capitalist?
I've definitely been an angel. Yeah. I think the company is more of an incubator, but yeah, I think I've been an angel. Not really a formal angel, but more of an informal angel and more strategic investor. And then the company hosts an event called the Satoshi Roundtable, which is one of the most successful events in the space. It gets very good attendees. We've had Ron Paul, and this year William Shatner's coming, and it's a small group of top CEOs in the industry, a lot of developers and CEOs. And then we also own Watchdog Capital, which is a fully SEC registered broker dealer that we're planning on using to pursue this area of technology.
Yeah, you're
Our
probably,
belief is that
go ahead.
a lot of things are going to become tokenized. A lot of securities are going to become tokenized, and that's why we set up this broker dealer.
Well, I'll tell you, Bruce, it was a pleasure meeting you, and I recommend people, bookmark something like this. So, Bruce, you're really not selling anything to anybody right here. You have a fund people could get involved in, or what?
Not really. No.
Okay.
Watchdog, we will be accepting clients in the near future.
Okay.
But yeah, we're Watchdog is our main business that could accept investments, and that's still pretty early stage. Like I say, it was just announced in March. So we're trying to do, even though I was in the industry a long time, we're trying to do things very carefully, very deliberatively, especially because it's such an area of new regulatory interest. So I've been even though I've been very active in crypto for the last 6 years, I haven't actually really offered a product to anybody all that time. A lot of it has been building and planning, and we're now ready with Watchdog and some of these kind of things. We're very close, but I think it's very key because it is so regulated. Coming from my regulated background, I recognize that it's something you want to be very, very careful and do things right. There's a lot of people who got into trouble by taking shortcuts, and we're trying to do things very carefully.
Okay, and Spacesuit X is an acronym that Bruce has come up with. You could watch his presentation that he did, and it's a way for individuals to do their due diligence on any crypto that they buy. And you'll have to put some more work and elbow grease into it. But Bruce, it was really a pleasure meeting you. A great resource for crypto. I hope you have a great holiday season, and 2020 is a breakout year for everything you do.
You too. Well, thank you very much. It was great to be here.
All right, everyone, Bruce Fenton, and you could follow him on Twitter at Bruce Fenton, and there's his website, Bruce Fenton, FENTON.com. Everyone have a great Fed day. What's the Fed going to do today, Bruce? You don't care.
They're going to mess with your money more, just like they've been for a long time. That's why you get into Bitcoin. Code will make your decision. In Bitcoin, code makes the decision, not some people in a fancy marble office.
All right. Well, I tell you what, don't just count your crypto, count your blessings, and we'll see everyone tomorrow. Good hunting. Adios. Thanks again, Bruce. No, I'm not going to ask about John McAfee. Interviewed him. I know all about him. Take it easy, guys.